Well, good morning, good people. Mark Holmes here, and as always, I want to say thank you all for watching, commenting, subscribing, and being part of the Jobu Sports Report. Without you guys, as well as you ladies, you know that this literally does not work. I hope everybody's having a great holiday morning. With the Dallas Cowboys, there's always news about. And the Dallas Cowboys have now, Eddie, I want to talk to you, Eddie. And Lola, what are you doing up so early, Miss Lola? It's only 6:48 where you are. Good morning. Eddie Franks, how are you doing this morning? The Dallas Cowboys have officially signed Jason Peters to the practice squad. News of that just came out about a half hour ago. And we are following along with that story right now. We don't have a number just yet of how much the contract is, but in the grand scheme of things, it doesn't really matter. It's probably around the $2 million range or something like that with incentives. But the Cowboys at least finally have a swing tackle who does at least have experience. He is definitely a future Hall of Famer. We can definitely say that is the case, and I may be able to get my buddy DMV here. Let me see. Okay, thought it was DMV. So, breaking news, if you're just waking up, just tuning in, main purpose, what's happening? Happy about the deal. This is one of those deals that's really low risk, probably high reward. We've gone through before and have hired and brought in some guys that have been really, really bad. The Ty Nsekes and things like that, guys that have been around the NFL. Ty Nsekes, I think, was 36 last year when we had him. And they put him in for one game, and they realized we just can't use that guy. And so they ended up basically letting him go, not re-signing him. Jason Peters is old. Jeffrey, how are you doing? Cowboys up north. Package arrived safely and sound. Glad to hear that. Good morning to you, my man. Raymond Thomas, what's up? Jason Peters is now officially a Dallas Cowboy player after the Cowboys, who seem to take forever when they sign a free agent. Sending a pic of you with it today. Sounds great, Cowboys up north. I appreciate that. The Cowboys, who seem to be very, very slow when it comes to actually signing players, they finally got this deal done after him coming in Thursday. We thought something would happen Thursday. Ended up being, they said maybe Friday. Friday, they said maybe Monday, if anything was going to happen. And they finally did, because the Cowboys, they just stretched things out. Old but dependable, yes. Now, for those out there, that the Eagle fans that are laughing right now and so on, and Cowboys suck. I will say this. And Eagles, I'm surprised the Trolls aren't here yet this morning. I guess they're still sleeping or haven't been released from jail yet this morning for their work release. I will say our backup situation, which is Jason Peters, versus the Eagles' backup tackle situation, which is Andre Dillard, who now has a fractured arm. He'll get better, I'm sure, in a few weeks or so. But I will take Jason Peters as a backup more than I will take Andre Dillard. I think he's definitely going to be able to mentor Tyler Smith. He's at least a guy that you can say, if Tyler Smith doesn't work out or if somebody else gets hurt, he can play guard, he can play left tackle, he can play right tackle. He can play anywhere across the line. What about wide receiver? Well, I think we're pretty much set at wide receiver right now. They're not going to go out and get anybody, and I don't see somebody out there right now. Shingles fan, I honestly say it's a good move. Well, it's better than no move. I will say that for sure. Steagles fan 568, welcome. I believe you're the first Eagle fan that's here. Yeah, we're going to get all kinds of laughs. And that's fine. That's fine. Because we've gotten all kinds of laughs on quite a few players that we've actually brought in before that have ended up being great players. Denzel Mims. Well, Raymond, here's the thing about Denzel Mims. First of all, the Jets aren't going to give him away for nothing. They actually want quite a bit. Denzel Mims, he played good in the last preseason game. I think 28-yard touchdown catch, his first as an NFL player, 2 years in the NFL and hadn't done much. If you bring him in, you're not saying, oh, this guy's starting day one, who doesn't know your system and hasn't played that well. That's the way I would look at that one. I'm not like, and believe me, if you can get him for, a ham sandwich and bring him in, by all means, and develop him, because then, okay, you're taking a risk on a guy that you hope will be good. But thus far, if you can't start on the Jets, let me say this again. If you can't start on the Jets, why do we think that you're going to be great elsewhere? Michael Gallup is not far away. He's not starting this week, but I would say 2 or 3 weeks from now, he'll be ready to go. You got Cedric Wilson, who is getting the opportunity to step up. I still believe in Jalen Tolbert. I'm okay with the guys we have. The key is going to be, more than anything else, though, the keys on this season is the ability to run the football. If we can run the football, that is going to make all the difference in the world. I'm telling you, because then you're not basically putting Dak in a position where he's being Romoized. And by Romoized, I mean we're just throwing the football every down. When you do that, you are now putting the defense ability to basically pin their ears back and just go after the quarterback and light up on him. And we don't want to be in that position again. We want to be able to say we are a balanced offense and that we can get Zeke going, chopping up some yardage here and getting us some good plays. Wilson does not play with us. I'm sorry, Noah Brown. Sorry. Brain fart, okay? Brain fart. Noah Brown getting the opportunity to start, okay? Again, it's still early in the morning, and I haven't finished my cup of coffee. Let me drink some more coffee. I'm sorry. Cowboys up north, yes. I meant Noah Brown. Noah Brown, who's had some experience with the Cowboys. It's actually kind of interesting because I'm sitting here watching NFL A.M. and have not seen it across the crawler yet. And if you've heard anything more on it. Oh, we got the face Philly. Oh, you know what? It's funny how the Eagles, when the Eagles sign anybody, and we got the fake Philly with the fake wrench. It's funny when the Eagles sign somebody, it's always the greatest player ever. Smart move by Howie Vision. Cowboys sign somebody, or Cowboys, they're washed. They're washed. And it's funny how a team that's ass, as they put it, and washed, seems to kind of kick your ass all the time. Kick your teeth in. You guys ever notice that? They keep talking about how Zeke Elliott is washed, but yet Zeke Elliott and the Dallas Cowboys kicked that ass twice last year. Oh, I forgot. The early game doesn't count because it was early in the season. 42-21, it just doesn't matter. Oh, and of course, the second time we were resting our starters. But you didn't say that when you were playing the Washington Covids. You didn't say that, that game doesn't count when we were playing them because they were injured. I just don't recall that. So, yeah. I like the fans are in the Cowboys chat room. Oh, believe me, they're always in here. Nice Cowboys coffee cup. Yeah, it's a coffee cup / soup bowl. But I drink a lot of coffee and I just love having it. Loyal Cowboy, yeah, like when we signed DeMarco Murray. How did that work out for you? Ooh, yeah. This is too funny. Mark, how did we drop $10 million in the cap? Didn't we have 23 or so? Wait a minute, let me look at that. Hold on. The only signing we did was Anthony Barr. We should have actually gotten a little bit more after the cuts. Okay, $14 million. Interesting. Might be some of the workout bonuses. Let me look at here. Let's pop it up on the screen. This is over the cap. We have 14.83. I don't think Jason Peters will be on there just yet. Not sure, but I will find out why we ended up dropping. Some of that has to be Anthony Barr, but I bet Anthony Barr's deal is only a 1 year deal, so his number would be total. Um, and I don't see Anthony Barr's on there. Hmm. I don't know why we dropped. I hadn't been paying attention to the last couple of weeks. And do I see? I don't see Anthony Barr. Huh. I will find out for you though. Barr was a hit. Yeah, probably Turpin. But Turpin again, you're not talking about like $10 million or something. We're not talking about a whole lot of money for Turpin and Anthony Barr. I mean, at most that couldn't be, but 3 million of it. Looking down to Sam Williams. Looking down Dward to Sam. Okay. Contract details. Brian, I have not gotten those yet. I have not gotten those just yet. And let me get the Zoom link for um, for DMV. He's going to be joining us here in a few. 3 million for Turpin. Okay. Was it 3 million? Damn, I didn't think he was that much. Okay. So 3 million for Turpin. You got another two or so for Anthony Barr. So between that, that's okay. That's about five. That would have been. I think we were down to about 19 before those two moves. So maybe that's what it was. Wow. All right. Let's see. Well, all right then. That's great. Yeah, it's definitely a start. I know a lot of people are going to be, oh man, same old Cowboys. We suck. Um, but I think this is actually a good move for what's out there. There's not a lot of great starting tackles that are out there these days. They're just not. And so Peters at least has experience. Peters is definitely better than your Ty Nasekis. Peters is definitely better than your Josh Balls. Um, Definitely the best of what was out there. People will say we should have tried to get Wadsworth, but Wadsworth is still under his L.A. Rams contract, so you would have to actually make a trade to get him, and you also have to get past his wife, who is happy, I'm sure, about having him home and being done with football. And Wadsworth is also 50 years old. Um, you had Eric Fisher, who has said he's had about 7 different offers, but is going to be selective about who he plays for. Who played? He was coming off an Achilles tendon tear. Beginning of last year, they had to slowly ramp him up. He played great for about 7 games, but then had shoulder issues and knee issues that slowed him down going down the stretch, which is the reason why the Colts didn't re-sign him. So you look at that. Then there's Nate Solder, who, my God, Nate Solder gave up like 8 sacks and like 30 pressures. So you look at it from that standpoint. Jason Peters played 15 games. And we can say that Tyron Smith hasn't played 15 games since 2015. So you can at least say his availability is definitely better than what you've gotten from Tyron Smith over the last few years. And unfortunately, I would rather Tyron Smith be the starter. I would rather that Tyron Smith was healthy and ready to rock and roll. But the reality is he isn't and hasn't been for a long, long time, and there's nothing we can do about that. Now what we got to do is make the best of the situation and do what we can. We are going to DMV may be joining me as few. He's getting out of the shower now, and he had said he had broken down some film study, so when he does get in here, we'll go through. But here's what I'm going to do with you guys. I'm going to play the clip here behind me of Jason Peters last year. I'm not going to say that Jason Peters is the best left tackle in football, that he's on this level of Trent Williams anymore. He is 40 years old. He is slowing down. He will have some bad plays, but he definitely still has something in the tank. And what you'll see with this clip is you'll see him flash the squares. And you'll see him holding off right there. Decent block right there. Let's look right here. Setting the edge. He's right here. Setting the edge. Defender's out wide. He's getting that leg. Look at that leg's coming out here. That stank leg. Watch. Boom. He's getting out there. He's got his shoulder squared up to meet the guy. He's engaging, right? He's wheeled his butt between him and the quarterback, and he's keeping that big ass out of there. Over here, boom. Same thing. Okay. I'm going to get my hands. I'm going to keep you at arm's bay. Boom. All right. Here. Boom. Oh, I got to back that up. Did you just see that? Hold up. Let's watch that again. Let's watch this one again. I love this one. Watch. Coming up. Okay. He is going to help. It's a double team. The guard's going to engage him, and then he's going to throw him to the ground. Oh. I messed that up. Sorry. This is what you get early in the morning on broadcast media. Hold up. It's coming. It's coming. Here we go. All right. Look. Boom. Look at that. You see that guy right there? Look at him. He's got him off balance. Get your ass down. Damn. He goes flying. Boom. You ain't getting there. You ain't getting there. Look at that. Double team. Damn, he's back there with the safety. Boom. Look at that. You ain't getting around to my quarterback. That's a big man. That is a big man. He is better at pass blocking than run blocking at this point. But definitely better than Josh Ball. Look at that. Get out the way. All right. Here's my man, DMV. All right. Let's see. This is a morning to remember. Shout out to everybody. Sorry. Mark, you mean Wadsworth. Okay. Larry. Hey, Larry. I am the name butcher. I screw up names. Okay. Andrew Whitworth, Wadsworth. Okay. It starts with a W. He's an offensive tackle for the Rams, Super Bowl champion. And you know who I'm talking about. I'm an idiot. I'm an idiot here. I'm not perfect with the King's English. So bear with me. Anthony Barr has 2 million so far. That's 2 million, 5 million. Okay. And Anthony Barr. So 4.5. Right. So 4.5, we had like 19. So 14.5 plus 4.5, that's 19. So that's where it is. And there may be some smaller transactions that are in there. Probably the injury settlement that we just had for Simpkins might be part of that. So who knows? Eagles fans, that's how I felt when you all got Murray. If you Eagles lose to the Lions, I'm going to troll the hell out of Philly 500 so bad that he'll have to block me. No worries, Philly. Okay. So Brian Green, the mailman. Are you out doing your routes there, Brian? Good morning, Primetime Phil. How are you doing, man? If you're just tuning in, the Dallas Cowboys have signed one Jason Peters. You're doing great, brother. You're not an idiot. Oh, yes, I am. You know what? I really am. You know, what's funny is sometimes I'll do something crazy, and my wife will give me a look, and I'll say, don't act like you didn't know. You remember I was crazy, Mark, in college, and you married me. So what do you expect? She's like, yeah, you're right, but you sure can cook good. Oh, that's right. It's a holiday. I keep forgetting. It's a holiday. It doesn't, I'll be honest, it does not feel like a holiday. The traffic hasn't been that bad, at least for us. It just does. I forgot. It's a holiday. So shout out, Brian. Okay. What are you doing then today, Brian? I ain't hating. You're not hating that signing. So the general consensus is nobody's hating it. Okay. Let me do one more thing here. See if we can get a conversation going. And see, I was just getting ready to leave to go to Lowe's to get a gas grill. I mean, a griddle. The pool is being closed. Oh, you're closing your pool? Oh, man. All right, let's see if we got him this time. There we go. DMV. His system probably wasn't awake yet. Get your grill going. Oh, we're going to be having it going. It's actually a 36-inch one. Look, I'm going to say about $200 on it. So I am going to definitely get it because I need it for the big sub. It's pouring down rain here, Loyal Cowboy. Yeah, it's supposed to get a bunch of rain here today, today, tomorrow, and the next day. So that's why I'm trying to get everything going. DMV, unmute your mic.
Yeah, I was waiting for you to stop talking. My bad. I was trying to get to my computer, but the link you sent me didn't give me the passcode and stuff, so I had to join my phone in order to get it.
It didn't have a passcode. Usually, just click on the link. It should. Okay, I guess I fucked up on it. Okay, Anthony. Here's what's funny to me. I'm looking at this. Clay Doe says Clay Doe. What a name. Anthony Barr is washed, bro. It seems like they keep telling us that every player we got is always washed. That Zeke Elliott is washed. But yet the Eagles go out and sign a guy who's got 167 yards and swear that he's the answer for them. Am I missing
Um,
something?
hey man, look, the Eagles let them do all the talking, and it's weird. It's like that one Super Bowl allowed them to just say anything that's just illogical. Like they just don't have
They
any
do a lot of
rational
that.
way of
Uh
thinking.
huh.
Like for example, they can bring up 25 years of us or 27 years of us not getting to the Super Bowl. Yet they won't even talk about the three times in a row we whooped their ass. Like we can't talk about that history, but we can talk about 25 years.
Nick
Like think
Caps.
about that.
Hey, Nick, email me or I'll email you because I got to double check that we have the look that you want on that before we cut it again. Week one score predictions. I'll give you that later on in the week. Right now, we're dealing with having Jason Peters signed on the roster. Don't know what the final number is. How you feel about the signing? I've looked at that clip that I sent to you. I've looked at that thing for about the last 2 weeks and stuff. Of course, that's going to be the highlights. There's going to be some plays where Jason Peters gets beat, and there's some plays where he's going to have some penalties and things like that. I think it's a better move than having Josh Ball is the swing tackle. I think it's
I'll
better
even go
than
further than that.
Matt Lewinsky, who hasn't had a training camp and has a shoulder harness on. You're going to say, but okay, well, give me your thoughts on that.
I really honestly think it's not that far off from having Tyron, honestly. Because if you think about it, Tyron hurt
Mm-hmm.
really wasn't the Tyron that we know.
Yeah.
That Tyron was getting penalties and getting beat and stuff as well. Jason
Mm-hmm.
Peters is in that same boat where he was a guy that was an all pro. He can still move pretty good when he anchors down. You can't really get off of you're looking at Shaq Barrett against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers,
Yeah.
and once he got the clamps on him, he got the clamps on him.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing that I really saw that he struggled with was trying to move laterally.
Yeah.
Um, Other than that, I mean, pass protection still has an elite kick step.
Mm-hmm.
Has really good hands. Can get to the second level. He can still play. He still got some tread on them tires, man.
Well, the question will
Definitely.
be is, he says that he's been working out and staying in shape to be able to play. The question will be is, what kind of shape is that in? He's not going. For a lot of people out here who are thinking that, oh, well, great, we got him, we're going to plug him in.
Yeah, no.
That's not going to happen. It was funny because there's Tiki Barber lost his show in New York, and they've got this woman, I think her name's Nancy or something like that, who's in her place. And she was saying, "Oh, well, it's just an offensive lineman. All they do is push people around. That anybody can do that." And it's like, nah, that's not exactly the case. It's a little bit more than just pushing people around. It's actually knowing which people to push around because you've got to coordinate with everybody on the offensive line. You can have five guys block right and one guy mess up, and your quarterback gets
Yeah.
killed. Yeah. So it's to me, it's definitely really, really important. This is definitely better. Um, why I got to be a prick? Brian Green, he says, I'm outside closing my pool, prick. I mean, damn, why I got to be a prick? Damn.
Yeah, it's
Oh
because I was
wow.
talking shit. Because he said he's gonna take about 5 minutes, and I said, "Well, Brian needs to put on his makeup."
Oh, shit. Okay. That's for you. Okay.
Yeah, that
I
was for
was
me.
like, what did I do? Why am I a prick this morning? Okay. Primetime Phil's joining us as well.
What's up, DMV?
Prime time.
All
How
right.
you
So
doing,
we're,
man?
we're
Looks
getting
like
the.
we have the matchup first week one of fantasy.
Uh
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Let's get it, man. You know I'm the defending champion of
I
the
would say you
league
got a
of the
good
J.
roster. You got a good roster. I didn't look up any fantasy stuff, and then when I looked at the end, I was like, man, oh, he's not gonna be the starting running back. Oh, he's not gonna. Oh man, whatever. I was like a little bit too late for my
oh.
researching.
Ethan Hogue, Philly says I can't name 10 Cowboy players.
Okay. I think you do what? In what? One
Is he
in one
smoking?
broadcast?
I mean, I can't name 10 players, as in 10
Yo,
players on
you've
the
named
roster.
10 Cowboy players that got cut. What is he
Yeah,
talking
that's what
I
I'm
about?
mean,
saying.
okay, cocaine's a hell of a drug. Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, we've got some crazy ones. He's not consistent. Well, do we think that Ty Nsekhe was consistent last year? That one game that here's how bad Ty Nsekhe was. He came in when Tyron Smith went down, and we never saw him again. You remember that? He never played another down after that first half, and so that was a veteran
Did he,
who
did
had.
he play against the Raiders though? I thought he played in the Raiders game.
I believe he played whatever game that Tyron Smith went down in. He played in that one. Then the following week they moved Terrence Steele over. They just gave
Yeah,
up
I
on
think
him.
it was the Raiders game. I think
Yeah.
Tyron went out on Thanksgiving. I think. I could be wrong. Somebody could let me know in the comments because they definitely will. But
Shout out to Duncan Wright. Football on Thursday night. Don't know about awesome Eagle, Cowboys, and Dallas fans, but I feel like a kid in a candy store and everything. Yeah, I do too. Man, I've been working my ass off getting this place ready. Man, I've got I got another TV to go out here that's on a portable rack and things, so that way if we do have a lot of people here, we can definitely have some great sight lines and stuff. I am ready. I am ready for football. But back to Jason Peters and our offensive line. And I'll ask both of you guys, do you think we can still have a successful season if, let's say, Tyler Smith really struggles?
yes, yes, I do think so.
I think
I
so
think that
too.
this signing bolsters. I mean, it really offers you an insurance policy, and it also offers you an opportunity to get better. Because if Jason Peters can eventually, in a couple of weeks, go in at left tackle, I think Tyler at guard is better than McGovern. So I think that you're ultimately stronger. But if
Mm-hmm.
Tyler Smith works out and we don't have to put Jason Peters in, that's ultimately what you want.
Yeah.
So I think they played it smart with how they did it.
Yeah, Tyler
Well,
Smith kind of reminds me of Tyron Smith going into his rookie year. I mean, I think a lot of people tend to forget that Tyron had a bad first rookie year. I mean, he was off and on, and
mm-hmm.
then the next year he was amazing, and he was, he projected to be into that position. So, I mean, anything that Peters is coming in with, whether it's a backup, whether it's a starter, I think that's the debate right now. I'm happy he's on the team because he's better than Josh Ball. He's better than Matt Walesko.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a
Just
question.
having the
That's the thing.
experience right there.
Give a shit.
Yeah.
They give a shit. Oh, well, he's nothing. He's 40. Dude, Tom's 45. I'm not going to put him in the same category, but the same is the way the conditioning and everything and how you eat, that changes things and how you play football. The fact, if he had gotten blown up last year at Chicago, then I can understand all the grief that they're giving us and stuff like that. But he wasn't. He was playing at a really good, level. So I
Yeah,
love
he
the
was.
signing.
Yeah. Can I interject and add something?
Mm-hmm.
He played with the Bears, man. So I'm at the clips and when I'm watching, you do see some faults and stuff, but you
Mm-hmm.
see a lot of good. If he had been on our team, he would have been a Pro Bowler with 12 wins.
Well, here's an interesting point for everybody that's we're seeing the Eagle fans they just got out on work release, so that's why they're finally chiming in. They're on
Look at that.
they're on lockdown until 10 o'clock, and then after that they can actually be out on work release and they can comment. But here's the thing that's interesting: he did play 15 games last year. Do you guys remember the last time Tyron Smith played 15 games?
Like
2015 in a season, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Did I know you, Mark?
I
I'm about to say, I didn't know you yet, Mark.
Exactly. Not even. I'll put it this way: the last time Tyron Smith played 15 games in a season, my YouTube channel, which was the one before, had about 300 subscribers.
Yeah, I was part of that too.
Okay. So here's the thing, and you touched on it too, DMV, where you were saying that after the first half of the season, the Cowboys' offensive line was golden, but once Tyron Smith went out, he kept coming back, but he was never back at really 100%, and they weren't able to run the ball the same way. And when that happened, it just kind of cascaded between losing Blake Jarwin, having to keep adjusting the offensive line. Everything kind of went to shit. And so even the rest of the season when he was playing, you were right on it. he was not the same guy. You know, Jason Peters at this point was probably going to be better than what Tyron Smith was after the ankle injury.
That's why when Jerry Jones talks about, oh, when Tyrone gets back, we're a better football team. Like, he's just not at that same point where you can just plug him in and he's all pro level like he was before.
Yeah.
You know,
Bingo, yeah.
What's up, boys? What's going
Weapon.
on?
Oh, I love these Eagle fans. Not to mention Dallas's first round pick is a bust. Well, you know, I guess you Eagle fans would know about first round picks being bust, since you guys seem to have one every year.
I don't know. Ask, when's the last time they had a good first round pick?
The last time was Lane Johnson in 2013.
Didn't they got Fletcher after that? I'm pretty sure.
No, Fletcher was before.
Oh, he was? Oh,
Fletcher
damn.
was 2011. Lane Johnson was 2013. The guy they drafted in between those was out of the league in 2 years. And so you've gone through with like Rhaegar, you've gone through with Nelson Aguilar, you've gone through with Andre Dillard.
Sheesh.
I mean, no, seriously.
With quarterbacks for a while there.
Yeah, Carson Wentz. You know, I mean, even with the second round pick of J.J. Arthur-Whiteside, they have not had good. And this is the reason why they have to constantly keep going out and getting free agents, because Howie Roseman sucks in the draft. So,
Yo, but let them tell it. Let them tell it. Howie Roseman is the best GM in the league.
Yeah, but see what he's doing
Let them tell it.
He's covering up for all the mistakes they had. Oh man, we got rid of J.J. Arthur-Whiteside. Yeah, you drafted him 3 years ago with a second round pick. You're applauding getting a Hugo Amani and a swap of picks, and you lose that guy. That's not exactly good work. You know, you drafted Rhaegar in the first round. The funniest one I've heard is they'll come back and say, you guys drafted CeeDee Lamb over Justin Jefferson.
A Pro Bowler.
That's a good thing.
But it's like, and you drafted Jalen Rhaegar over Justin Jefferson. So how are you saying we did something
Philly
bad?
cried because they didn't get CeeDee Lamb.
Yeah.
So what are they talking about? Philly cried. You guys would love CeeDee Lamb. You guys would kill
Oh my God, they would do.
CeeDee Lamb's better than Devontae Smith, who they traded.
Yeah.
They traded with us to go up and get, and allowed us to get Micah Parsons. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm loving that move.
I'll take it.
You know, I pray that the Eagles, you know, crash and burn. Just let them lose to the Lions and the Washington Commanders.
Have you seen any of that Hard Knocks?
I've seen a little bit of it. I'm going to probably just. My wife has actually gone to. They've got a birthday party and they're gone to the beach for the week, so I'm going to have some extra time. I probably will just marathon watching all of it and things because it's going to be raining the next couple of days. I've got my outdoor studio together, and you know I can work on the man cave while it's on. So yeah, I'm going to definitely do it. They're going to be gritty. You know, they're going to hopefully they take on the mentality of their coach. You know, Dan Campbell is one of those. You know, we're going to bite you at the kneecaps and shit, and you know, and try and maul you to death. So if they take on that persona, they could actually punch the Eagles in the mouth. And I still say that the Eagles' problem is I don't think that they're going to be in great shape physically. And I don't think with all of the new players that they've added to the mix that they're going to be very cohesive, at least not at first.
Yeah, in the beginning, yeah, at least.
Yeah, Philly, for the most part, they're a team that if they are going to have a good team, they kind of catch fire. They kind of catch fire in the middle to late. They don't jump out the gates.
Yeah.
I definitely agree.
I agree with you on that.
Look at the rest of the NFC. How many other teams, like, you know, when you got each conference, you're usually one representative or a second or so. You know, you still see that this division could possibly be that second team in there. I mean, you got the NFC North. I mean, Green Bay maybe out of there. So I mean, Seattle. I don't know. Like Seattle's taking a big step back. So when I look at that, I look at Philly as, yeah, I mean, they're a possibly playoff team, but it's just because of what's around us, you know. If we were playing in the AFC, that shit would not be anything near
What
that.
do you mean?
Okay.
We don't have 12 teams?
Oh, shit. Well, we had 2 teams that were duplicates. Sorry.
Yeah.
So we're trying to do that.
Yeah, they were just
Because Rock picks an extra team and Marley picked an extra team.
Fuck.
I'm like,
Sorry.
where is Brian? I'm like,
No, that was a clip. I was trying to get Vado, where Vado's like, "Fuck the Eagles." I thought I had that one saved up in here, but evidently I did not. But yeah, I've got to get Vado in here because Vado was hilarious yesterday.
You got that ooh-ee in him, that's why.
Yeah, definitely. I don't know what, Vado, sometimes it's hard to understand him, But when he says no, you there's no mistaking. And when he says fuck somebody, it's clear as a bell. That was hilarious yesterday. Shout out to Vado.
Yeah, so I was excited. I was happy to wake up this morning and seeing that we had signed him. So I mean, that was definitely good news to wake up to.
Yeah. The question now, okay. Our big free agent signings, Turpentine, Anthony Barr, who people, of course, Eagle fans say he's washed too, and Jason Peters. Will we try and do anything else? Will we try and bring in another player? Will we look at wide receiver? Are you guys okay with what we got?
It's not about us being okay with it. I think it's the Joneses. Everybody was twisting their arm to just get this tackle. And when you hear them have their interviews, you would think that they just got, they had this all pro line that they're like, well, you just wait and see, But, that's just not the case. So I only think, they make another move if out of desperation, which has kind of been our kind of mantra for a while.
Oh, I forgot Dante Fowler, too. And Fowler actually looked really good in training camp. Yeah. And here's the thing that when people talk about the Cowboys are going to take such a big step back, if you think about the San Francisco 49ers offense, they were 5th in running the football, and I think they were like 27th passing.
That should get better. I mean, I'm on that borderline. Who's better, Jimmy G, or is it Trey Lance? I mean,
No. I'm just pointing out what they ended up doing in the playoffs with not a great offensive team. Their defense, got hot there and really, they bitch slapped us. I ain't gonna lie. They literally came in with an attitude and bullied the hell out of us. I'm hoping that we come in next year where we're not nervous before the game, as Mike McCarthy says, and we start doing some bullying with our defense. But if our defense, and we have yet to see our whole team together, this is where it's always funny where people will say, Cowboys haven't done this, Cowboys. You haven't seen what our whole team looks like. You haven't seen our starters play a single down together. We have not seen what it looks like. We've seen a little pieces here, a little piece there, but we just don't really know. But I tell you, looking at what we have pieces-wise on that defensive line, to see Tristan Hill for once actually start looking like, a second-round pick on the defensive line that should actually be a beast, seeing Neville Gallimore, who he could move, Osa, Mr. Hands himself, that guy's fast too, and he really can shed a block. I mean, he can get away. Dante Fowler looked good. I'm just looking at this. We've got so much speed and so many guys and combinations of things that we can do that defense is going to be very opportunistic, and I think they're going to cause a lot of fumbles in that backfield.
Oh, look at Brian. He finished putting on his makeup.
Eastside Harold, what's up? Thanks for the super chat.
What's up?
Of course, Eastside says Peters is washed. Okay.
I love it, man.
Okay.
He always has that comment.
I don't know what they're watching. Look at the film.
Listen.
I'm gonna say that's washed. Nobody.
I'm seeing all the comments about how Eagles fans would rather see him retire than go with Dallas. Come on, if you were that player, that's a lie. That's not how it works, bro.
Mm-hmm.
So,
they're butthurt. They're butthurt.
DMV, am I the only one who thinks? I did talk to Mark about this. It seems like Peters is better at pass blocking than he is at actually run blocking.
I agree.
As like you would think he'd be like a road creator, but his technique. My main question
we have him playing up here
is why do we have Josh Ball here? If he can't play left tackle, why is he on the team?
I think now you're allowed to kind of cut him. But I mean, see, Jason Peters is starting on the practice squad, so I think that they're going to.
That's not going to be for very long. It can't be.
Yeah.
They're going to do the Anthony Barr situation.
You got to kind of go with Josh Ball in week 1, I guess, because Jason Peters just signed today, so they're not going to put him on the active.
All right, but here's the thing, though. Hold on, before you push him off the bridge yet. You can't really judge him by last year because last year he was injured most of the season. So that was kind of like a redshirt season. So in essence, you're really looking at him as being a rookie. And, if talking about Tristan Hill here, you looked at the body of work of Tristan Hill the other couple of years. Now, again, we haven't been out on a full game in the regular season. He looks like he's kind of turned the corner. And I'll even use Terrence Steele. Terrence Steele, when he got thrown to the wolf that first year, he wasn't very good. He got better as the year went on. But right now, I'd actually have to say he's our second best offensive lineman out there.
Mm-hmm. He's getting a lot of hate out there too. Steele doesn't get any respect.
I tell you what,
I think he earned some.
You know what?
That first year when he came in, I was impressed. Yeah,
I tell you what, Steele. You did not hear Steele's name talked about the first 8 games of the season before he got moved.
Yeah,
when you don't hear about an offensive lineman's name called, then you're doing your job.
Like when you flip him from the right, like a young player who maybe I don't know his whole backstory. Mm-hmm. He's I don't know if did he ever played the left side or if he played it well. I mean, he was doing good on the right side, and then he went to the left, and then he was all whacked out the rest of the year.
But my question was it because of Zach Martin being beside him, or was that because
that don't hurt? But
was it?
That's a very good question. That's a very good question.
I would assume that it's a step to the other side because I think there's a huge difference there. But Zach Martin tends to be the little bit of a.
He was playing next to Connor McGovern. I mean,
Eddie B, what's up, Eddie? I want to talk to you, Eddie. Eddie is back. It must be football season because my cousin Eddie is back. Shout out to cousin Eddie. How are you doing?
I'm just excited that we're not going to have Biotish and Williams next to each other because that seemed like the line was getting penetrated big time, right? In Dak's face. So,
here's going to be an interesting thing. Okay, so we've got Jason Peters on the practice squad, so he's going to be ramping up to get ready to play the season. He won't be ready for a couple of weeks and all that. Let's say that Connor McGovern still can't get to the second level and is struggling. Do we switch up and put Tyler Smith at guard and bring in Jason Peters to be the starter?
By that point, you just put Matt Ford out in there and let him be that guard. Then
I mean, Mark, I think they're going to do that anyway. You got to think about this, right? What practice squad player gets an opportunity to negotiate and go out through that process like it did with Peters? He's going to play.
Oh, we know he's going to play.
Well, he's going to play. They're just getting him ready.
Yeah, I would say kind of like what they did with Anthony Barr. It may take a little longer just because of his age. Yeah, they're going to ramp him up. That's why I was telling you, I thought maybe they would wait to sign him after week 1 to avoid the old, like all the guarantees. But that's fine. I mean, we have the money. There's no reason why we shouldn't have, signed him now. But it won't be long. He's too good for that.
John says Jordan Davis does not have to register a stat. If he gets double and triple team on every play, it's worth his weight in gold. The only problem is he's only good for about 2 or 3 plays, and then he gets tired.
Yeah, but the thing about it is, as of this moment, he's not a take up 2 or 3 blocks type of guy.
Yeah.
He's a get one center on him. Mm-hmm. Now, I'm not saying that it won't be that way because it does look like a guy that could potentially be something amazing. But at the moment right now, a guy like Tyler Biotish can manhandle him. And that's bad. That's actually bad. That's not good for him.
Yeah, Yeah, and understand, too, regular season schemes are different than preseason schemes.
Wait. Yeah. Philly 5. We got the fake Philly 500 up in here.
Philly.
No, it's not that Philly. This is.
It's filthy. No.
No. The fake Philly 500 up in here says that they own the channel. I don't think so. I think Lola just took care of his ass.
Lola hot sauce.
All right, so here's the reason why you have a guy as a swing tackle. Okay? The reason you have a guy as a swing tackle is so you can have your best 5 players out there, which means you can kind of shift around and say the swing tackle usually is that 6th guy that you say he can play anywhere. Peters can play guard. He can play tackle. If Connor McGovern, and that's where I'm still worried. I'm worried about Connor McGovern actually more than I'm worried about Tyler Smith because Tyler Smith looks like a road grader. Do you think about putting Jason Peter at guard?
No.
I mean, I don't feel as uncomfortable about the situation only because an hour before Tyron Smith's injury, McCarthy was out there saying whether it was bull crap or not that McGovern was going to be starting over Tyler Smith. And so that kind of gives me a little bit more of that feeling because that kind of has that same feeling as when Steele was out there and they're like, well, what are you going to do with Steele? You going to put Collins in? And they were like, no, Steele's our guy. We're going to go with him. And,
Mm-hmm.
And so, I mean, look how he did that first couple of games before they messed up him.
Yeah. So. All right. So we're looking at Tyler Smith getting his first play. We've got Tampa Bay this weekend. How's anybody feeling like we got no chance?
Hell no, we're gonna whoop Tampa Bay's ass.
I mean, Brady's still Brady. He's still going to do his dinking and dunking and stuff, which is fine because this defense is you need to do that against the defense.
Brady's going to get rid of the ball quick. There's nothing you can do about that. We just need to get pressure in the A gaps in his face, make him move laterally. I don't know. As it gets closer, I feel more confident. I feel like it's really. I mean, we're going to win going away. I know that's probably. I just feel.
AB. No Godwin.
No third receiver that's just going to tear you up. Yeah.
Give me that all day. If he's dinking and dunking to Fournette in the backup running back,
right, with our linebacker speed,
or whoever, I feel great about it. I feel good about this game.
He's got a good tight end in Kyle Rudolph. I mean, I know it's going to the age thing, but when I pair him with
he had 230 yards last year.
When I pair him
with a good quarterback. Big guy that's going to get it to him quickly. That's where I say, okay, he can take a step back and look good again for another season.
Here's my thing, Phil. I think with our defense, I think you're going to need to have big plays against our defense. I think you need to, like just a big play down the field to score. I don't think that you're going to give up. The Cowboys are going to give up many long drives. So if you're going to dink and dunk, I'll take our chances. I think, I don't think you're going to be able to move the ball time and time again against the Dallas Cowboys defense, especially with all their injuries on the O-line.
Well, the one thing, shout out to Big Wade. Big Wade says that right now Peters is one of our top 5 offensive linemen. I have to agree with that. I'm not saying Biotis is better than Peters. I'm not going to say that Connor McGovern is better than him. No. So definitely. So yeah,
he's got more skins on the wall than anybody on the line. But obviously, we like Zach. I mean, then he's next in line to be in that, conversation.
Well,
I'm going to be honest with you. I'm looking at the tape. He's better than Steele right now, 40 years old. And I like Steele. Look how Steele doesn't move like that.
No, even the running game, and even the weakness part, what Brian was talking about, you look at some of those ones that are right behind where Mark is. I mean, he's getting out there. I mean, he looks like a 40-year-old father that's coming into the room with his belt to whip somebody. But he still looks like he can get in front of somebody.
You know what I'm excited about, though? Phil, I'm excited about, it's 3rd and 1, 3rd and 2. I'm sorry, McGovern, you're off the field. I'm putting, him at left tackle. I'm kicking Tyler to guard. You bring in a tight end. That's powerful right there. So
I'm doing that anyway. Once it's up enough, I'm doing that anyway.
But that's scary. I mean, I like that.
Yeah, get some big bodies up there. I think the one that always got me when I thought about a Connor Williams is I always thought about that Chicago Bear tackle coming in on a stunt and just blowing him up. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, yeah, that was basically his career with us.
That and penalties. And you always and that was the thing that you kept looking like when a Vita Vea would just basically lift him up and just almost like pick him up and drop him in Dak Prescott's lap. And that was the biggest problem you had with the penalties too. But I don't mind a penalty, an aggression penalty, because the coaches would always say, if you're gonna fuck up at full speed. But I always felt like a lot of the holding penalties were Connor Williams was holding on for dear life so Dak didn't get killed.
Yeah, it was ugly at times.
It was definitely ugly.
Yeah.
Well, I feel better that this move is made at least.
I'm curious about the details, but it really don't matter. But I think he got more than what he did last year.
He definitely did.
I'm thinking with some major incentives involved. I mean, that was a prove-it year, and he proved it.
Yeah, Dallas wouldn't have wasted their time bringing him in for a visit. When Dallas brings you in for a visit, they bring you in and they roll out the red carpet.
Well, Jason. Yeah, Jerry was whining and dining him.
Even the doctor had the red
72-ounce steak.
This is
glory hole.
This is actually it's so true.
You had to go there, Brian. Really?
I had to, man. Come on, it's my boy. That's my teammate.
This is so funny. I'm looking at Twitter because Twitter don't play. blocking the boys an hour ago. Be warned, a lot of Eagle fans are going to show up unannounced to talk about how definitely awful Jason Peters is now that he's on the Cowboys.
Well, I live right outside of Philly, and that's all I'm hearing is, LOL, he's over the hill. Meanwhile, we'll see how over the hill he is when we line up. We will see.
I told you, they're not rational. Like, think about it. We like Cedric Wilson. We didn't badmouth him when he left. Amari Cooper. We know Amari Cooper can still play. They didn't say Amari Cooper's a bum or anything, or he's washed or anything like that.
Yeah. That's how they roll. They got to bring you down in order for them to feel good. I don't have to bring you down. I just got to beat you.
Here's the thing.
That's all I need.
Amari Cooper has had some incredible games and stuff with us, but there's been some times where he's just disappeared. And it's usually towards the end of the season. The second year here, it was like he just couldn't play on the road. You know, and you would see him sitting on the sideline. It's like, what's going on? Is it the foot? Is this just, he needs a
He was an aloof guy, and that's fine. There's nothing wrong with being that way. I'm worried on third down. He was our third down guy, so I'm not going to lie to you.
I disagree with that,
I'm still concerned. Who's going to step up?
I disagree with that.
Okay.
I disagree with that because I think we call plays different on the road. And I'll give you a prime example. We didn't use as much motion on the road. I don't know if it has anything to do with the crowd noise or anything. But they call plays differently. But when Cooper Rush went to Minnesota, Amari Cooper somehow showed up because the game plan was different. It was better.
Mm-hmm.
If you go back and watch that game, we were like, I remember being next to you. We were like, why didn't we do this with Dak Prescott? We were getting the ball and we were throwing the ball to our playmakers in one-on-one situations.
It's almost like they're getting told to run the offense. No. Get the ball to your number one receiver who's going to, he's going to either get open. 9 times out of 10, he's going to be open. Get him the ball. Sometimes you got to get away from running your offense and get the ball to your playmakers. That's what I think is going to happen with CD. Mm-hmm. You're going to see them force the ball to CD, and which is what they should have done to Amari. But
well, here's the thing, though. Can Kellen Moore be anti-Boise State?
I think Dak's got to step up
Dak's
gonna have to say, "F that play. I'm calling this shit on the line." At the line.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I still think we need to establish the run again, especially with the rookie out there. If we can establish the run and start being able to use play action and move the pocket, that's a great way to get him into the NFL. If we start trying to launch the ball 30, 40, 50 times a game, you're going to be able to the defensive linemen are going to be setting up Tyler Smith. He's going to get beat like a redheaded stepchild.
Yeah, and that goes with Dak too. This is one thing, and I know the people are going to hate me for saying this, but this is one thing that I really like that Romo did. Romo did an excellent job of setting up the run and calling runs and getting us in the best possible play at the line of scrimmage. Dak is going to have to be able to check 2 runs at the line of scrimmage as well, runs that will put us in the best possible situation.
Yeah, because ultimately what we have to do is make the defenses cover the whole field.
Yeah.
When you become one-dimensional, the defensive lineman, as a defensive lineman, you love to pass rush. You love, because you're not taking on those double teams, where they're coming downhill at you. You love to pass rush and start setting up an offensive lineman. You can pin your ears back. I know it's a pass down. Hey, I'm getting ready to set this guy up. I'm going to jab, step, and rip. I'm going to swim. I'm going to do a spin move. Running the ball, you don't know where that hit's coming from. Yeah. And you got to have your head on a swivel. So if we can end up establishing a run with the road grader like Tyler Smith and drive block these guys, get Zeke Elliott picking up some chunk yards, forcing teams to get 8 men in the box, all of a sudden that opens up a whole lot of play action. And you move that pocket around. Dak is so good at bootlegging. It wasn't easy. It looked almost painful when he would run and bootleg last year because he'd lose his mechanics because he couldn't put pressure on that leg with that calf muscle. A lot of times he's up in the air when he's throwing the football. But the way he is moving right now and can plant. Did you guys see, Miss Jackie shared it with me, they had a soccer player kick the ball up in the air. Dak is hitting the soccer ball in midair with the football. Like he's skeet shooting.
Yeah, I didn't see it, but I'm hearing that his teammates are saying that he's laser focused and he's on
the best
point.
Camp I've ever seen. It's the best I've ever seen him look. I'm just going to be honest.
Early on, he was never a good practice player. He was a gamer. He'd come in and oh my God, I can wait to see this in practice. I'm hearing he's on point. He's ready to roll. So that doesn't surprise me.
Well,
I don't think that I've ever. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Mark. Sorry.
No, you go ahead.
I was going to say, I don't think that I've ever seen him as mentally sharp and as healthy at the same time and it all coming together than I have right now. Both legs under him. He looks good.
Well, that's what I was telling, like we were talking about on Sunday, DMV. We were talking about, just think about last year at this time, what we were all thinking.
Oh,
Dak
shit.
was coming off of a mangled leg. Our defense from the year prior was unbelievably bad, like in history, how bad our defense was. Come on, man. We're way ahead of that. And now we're talking about how, we ain't going to do this. We ain't going to do that. Come on, man. Come on. You got to beat us first. We blew you out, Philly.
Thank you for bringing up that point about the defense because, see, where we dropped off on offense with people, how much better did our defense get? I mean, in the middle of the last year, our defense was carrying us with all of the talented guys we have. Now we've added to the defense, but guys that actually fit into what we're doing. I think the defense is going to pick up the slack where the offense drops off. Okay, maybe the offense isn't number one. If the offense drops to 8, but the defense is a top 5 defense, we can still be a team that wins 12 games.
Yeah, remember J-Ron Curse? We brought him in as an afterthought, saying, all right, we'll see.
Now we know his role.
He was wearing the green dot, running the defense, and we were all saying, you better resign this guy. And the Catboy playing games. I'm like, no, you need to sign this guy.
Here's the headline that you don't remember from last year. Was Adam Schefter coming through and basically saying that Dak Prescott wouldn't be healthy all year with that shoulder. Y'all forgot about that, right?
Yeah,
no, I did it.
I mean, he couldn't throw in training camp.
Okay. He had a bum leg and a shoulder, and then
his problem was he wanted to practice. Yeah, exactly. He wanted to practice so bad that he threw his arm out, basically. And it's hard to tell somebody who wants to go that don't throw when that's what you do for a living. But he overthrew, and he was dealing with that too. So, and knock on wood, anything can happen. It's football, but if all things being equal, I'm fine, man. I'm ready. I always say it. We have an unbelievable defense, and we're going to be in every game. You may have that one stinker that you can't predict on both sides. I think we're going to blow out a team that everybody's going to say that we probably shouldn't blow out, but we're going to get our ass kicked by somebody. It's just the NFL, man. But we have a dominating defense, and I'm ready to roll.
Our special teams, obviously, kicking is always kicking. But the fact that now you have a possible returner that can change the field position, I mean, that's a small little thing that kind of gets forgotten. And I mentioned this before, that there's going to be somebody that's going to be like, you know what? I don't want to kick it to this guy, shank it off his foot. There's going to be a situation where him just being back there wearing that Romo number, he's going to do his thing. He's going to return. He's got to return one. I mean, you got a guy like Pollard that wasn't the main thing of his game, and he was able to return one. I mean, this guy returned 2 in one game. He just needs opportunities, and I think
he's been a winner at every level, Phil. We talked about it. In high school, in college, he was immature. He was still like one of the best players on the field when he was on.
And then he's a guy that you can do, as DMV was speaking of, bringing that, the end around where you're swinging that receiver and giving that linebacker just a thought, making him look his
Send him on a 9 route. Send him on a 9 route.
What's the RPO? What's the RPO like now? Where if you have Pollard in the slot or you have Turpin, and they're just doing a simple bubble.
I'm hoping.
And then you got Houston too.
I'm hoping that we run more of that.
I tell you what,
I think that's going to be big.
What I'm hoping for, I guess it was a Seattle game. We ended up having Cooper Rush actually looking like a competent quarterback. This one drive. I know I'm like a mockingbird here with constantly talking about 12 personnel. But they ended up running 12 personnel for one drive, starting out at the 31-yard line, and the first 2 plays were run. The first play, I believe we got 4 yards. The second play, I think we picked up 9 yards on it. And you could see how the defense started to change and trying to put more men in the box. And they ended up basically playing games with the tight ends from, one on each side to both of them on one side, 2 wide receivers opposite side, having them in tight. They even had everybody in tight, the wide receivers tight, 2 tight ends on the opposite side and all that. They take Jalen Tolbert, they sneak him to the end zone, ends up stepping out of bounds. But they used that to disguise what they were doing. And if you watch that series, you could see how the defense literally had to start selling out on the run and getting caught when the Cowboys were doing the play action. Now, Cooper Rush is not Dak Prescott. You put Dak Prescott out there, you get a Zeke Elliott. You end up starting out with, Tony Pollard in the backfield and all of a sudden shift to an empty backfield and put him out in the slot with Dalton Schultz as well as Jalen Tolbert and CeeDee Lamb, and end up having, Ferguson. You got 5 wideouts there with 8 men in the box. There's a whole lot of things you can do with that, with the way Dak can distribute the football. And this is where we have to look at the evolution of Kellen Moore, where we can't just say we're going to have 3 wideout sets and we're just going to go down the field all the time. Well, he's got to disguise some shit.
Yeah. Well, Kellen, we got to look at this, right, Mark? You got the new machine that you're working, right? The first time, how was the first couple pieces compared to the pieces that you're working on now?
Not anywhere near.
That's a good analogy there.
It takes time to learn what you can do with it.
Yeah,
exactly. So just imagine being a young guy that's been barely a position coach. Mm-hmm. You have all of the knowledge of how to do things, but it's like you don't have that experience. I think that he's gotten better every year, whether we hate certain things that he does or not. He's gotten better every year. And honestly, you could see the leap in that year when we lost Dak Prescott. I think that he took a big leap that year. I think that he's going to be better. He's still young. He's my age. You know what I'm saying? Calling plays.
Yeah. And so in his defense a little bit, once Tyron Smith got hurt and you were playing games with Connor Williams and Connor McGovern, you're taking Terrence Steele on the other side, you lost Dalton Schultz. Tony Pollard was out with the plantar fasciitis. Zeke's got the PCL injury. And then you had Amari Cooper missing some time because of COVID. And then you had CeeDee Lamb get a concussion. So you had all of these things that were happening the second half of the season. It did kind of limit some of the things that you could do. You couldn't be quite as dynamic without your horses.
And then the execution wasn't there, whether it was getting flags or Cedric Wilson, for example, a pitch to Pollard and it's totally off, and just the execution wasn't there as well. So, it's easy to, I'm going to say this and I'm going to eat my words. I say it's easy to blame Kellen Moore, but I mean, I feel, even though the offensive line was that iffy part, I really feel like Kellen Moore is our Achilles heel. We only go as far as him. I think DMV really hits it on the head in the sense that what other experience? I mean, we know that he has a football mind. They know he has a football mind. He showed that as the backup quarterback, and I think that's what, elevated him to that position. But I just want to see him pull out certain things in certain situations. Like in that San Francisco game, I just want them to go, okay, look, man, do the whole Rams thing. What the Rams needed to win the game. They know Cooper Kupp is their guy. They just threw him the ball. Mm-hmm. And you had Cooper out there. I mean, just get him the ball. Run down to the car, turn around, and I'm gonna throw you the ball. That's just
exactly.
Let me give hang on. Let me give a shout out. DJ VI. This year's champs will come out of the NFC East, either the boys or the Eagles. Okay. Eddie B. Dear Mark, do we really need to go through this again with the shingles? I mean, they'll be crying again, hollering, we need a new quarterback after Hurts fumble interception against the Cowboys. Ouch. Eddie throwing the fire here. Yeah.
Throwing that.
We talked about it, though. They have a lot of talent. They added a lot of talent on offense, but it's not the easiest thing in the world to put that all together, especially the way the new rules are in practice. And
I'm more fearful of Minshew than I am of Hurts.
Yeah.
But I tell you what, now again, they only played their starters for one quarter or one drive in there. But what I've seen from their backups, one, their conditioning did not look there. Two, looking at their fundamentals, the tackles that they messed up on, pursuit angles, what I can say about the Cowboys defense is they won't give up the big plays consistently like we did in in 2020. 2020, I saw so many guys that are doing, I call it a banana route attacking, trying to get a quarterback or, get a guy. That Odell Beckham Jr. run still haunts me at night. Seeing guys literally run out of bounds in front of him, seeing, guys that are literally, instead of going straight to the point of attack, not understanding, we're just going to chase behind him. Those things have disappeared for the Cowboys. And when I see them tackle, their tackling ability is so much better. You don't usually see guys bouncing off the guys, at least even with our backup guys. Now, I know when I see D-Law out there, when I see Leighton Vander Esch out there, when I start seeing, our starters and Micah Parsons, those guys don't really miss tackles. And they have good pursuit angles. And I think this defense is going to be disciplined. And there's so many different combinations that they're going to be able to do with people, different matches up. I feel like we can match up with the big run-blocking offensive line because we've got big guys. We can literally put 1,000 pounds of beef up there between the three of them. And I feel like we also have enough speed that we can match up with speed rushes in here. This defense is going to be a lot more versatile than what people actually think.
Yeah. And we added around what we've already had. Like Malik Hooker is starting the year off healthy.
Yeah.
There's no question mark at safety right now. There's no question mark at corner. There's no question mark at linebacker. There's no question mark at the defensive line.
Who's your lowest safety? Who's your lowest safety?
My God, we got so many safeties.
That's what I'm saying.
My lowest safety is Izzy, and I think Izzy's good.
Yeah.
See,
honestly, I would say Wilson has more ability, but Wilson, we haven't seen much of him because he's been hurt. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? He gets hurt.
And that's
I think he's more of an in the box type guy. I mean, we've seen him play back, but there's no need for him to really play back much. He's like another linebacker. That's why I said we got so much versatility.
When I saw Mukamu last year in college, DMV, but when I saw him amazing in the zone and how tall he was. I'm like, man, if you just take him from corner and you stick him at safety, but man, they did that already, and that was amazing to watch in the preseason. So.
I mean, he struggled at times last year. He definitely did, but it looks like he's working on it. It looks like he's actually playing the ball more. He was doing a lot of trail. That's what you see with Watkins. So he's tall, and sometimes his hips don't move like they should.
Now, let me make a quick point right here. Shameless plug. If you do not know who we have on here right now, guys, okay, and if you have been, you probably don't. You've probably been under a rock. But definitely you need to check out my man DMV. Subscribe up to his channel and things. And we're going to be doing a chip challenge here. You know what?
He's always having good guests.
We still got to do that chip challenge. I know you got some new hot sauce, DMV.
See, that's the only problem, DMV, about living in the same area.
Yeah.
You're that
I tell you what. I tell you what. If the Cowboys beat Tampa Bay, I'm going to do that chip on Monday. Okay. Ooh. All right. That's what I'm going to do. Are you joining me, DMV?
You got that breathing.
I'm thinking about it, man. I gotta work the next.
See.
What are we talking about, Mark? Okay. What are you doing? A chip challenge?
Wait.
If we beat Tampa Bay, I'll do the chip challenge.
You should get it for that night. So the people that are there on that night can do it.
I have them. I've got like 4 or 5 of them, so I got plenty of them.
That would be the time to do it.
Okay.
Will I be able to try?
But the only problem is you're doing that like at 11 o'clock at night.
Yeah,
that's going to be a rough night in bed.
Yeah.
If it was at 1 or the 4 o'clock game, I'm with you, but I'm like, am I going to be able to drive home?
Yeah.
Midnight.
You're right about that. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Well, we'll work on it, but something like that. But here's the thing. Here's the thing that's amazing, actually. I want you to think about this, though. 2020, think about where we were with safeties. We were bringing in Clinton Ha-Ha Dix for training camp. And look at how we are now. Now, we have so many players on defense, you forget about a guy or two. It's like, I forget, Tyler Basham. I forget about Basham. I forget about Dante Fowler. Oh, there's Sam Williams. There's so many guys on there that you forget. But here's the thing that's amazing is, we get a lot of flack because, we see the Eagles go out and get all these free agents and stuff, and we say, well, the Cowboys don't care about winning. But the Cowboys have taken and turned this team into the 3rd youngest team in the NFL.
Not
it
anymore.
was the third.
Not anymore.
Well, okay, yeah, before Jason Peters. It may creep up a little bit with Jason Peters. But still.
Yeah,
but
point taken.
But Jason Peters is not a long-term thing.
Yeah,
okay, we look at this. This is 1 year and we're done. And probably Jason Peters will be gone and Tyron Smith will be gone after this year, which will drop it back down quite a bit. But my point being is you look at this, besides those two players, Tyron Smith is not going to be a factor this year. Let's be clear. Look at the rest of the roster. Zach Martin, I think, is 30. D-Law is like 30. Zeke Elliott, Leighton Vander Esch, Dak are pretty much your old guys on the roster. Everybody else is like mid-20s or younger. This team is very, very young. And you look at this and say, okay, we got a core group of guys. Between this year and the next year and the year after that, we should be good to go. And that's kind of what happened with the 90s. Yeah, that's what happened during the 90s. We basically tore it all up. We kept bringing in player after player until we found ones that actually fit the system. And we were able to keep that group of guys together and go on those runs. It may not be this year, but you look at next year and so all of a sudden you start looking and saying, this team could be really loaded. Maybe I'm wrong.
They are.
That's the way I look at it. Key will be is who will be coaching the team.
Oh, Dan Quinn.
It'll be it'll be DQ.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
He ain't gonna be here after this year, so
he's not the
head coach.
That's gonna be the sad part. He's gonna go and be a head coach somewhere. He gets the job he wants. He's very picky. Good for him, but.
In his second year in Seattle, didn't they go and win the Super Bowl as far as when he was the defensive coordinator? I think his second year, right?
What are you laughing at, Mark?
Hold on, wait.
He was very young in there. He was very,
Diehard Eagle fan is literally we've got Eagle on Eagle crime here. I'm trying to find the clip. He was basically telling another Eagle fan, shut the fuck up because you're embarrassing us.
Yeah, I can appreciate that, man.
Shout out.
I have those friends that every single year they're like making bets in preseason about the Cowboys winning. I'm like, you don't make bets in preseason, dude.
Oh yeah.
I'm just glad that we're not the team that everybody is saying, yo, the Cowboys are going to run away with it. I don't need First Take. I don't need anybody, doing that. No, go ahead. Let the Eagles. You guys are great. I mean, we scored 50 on you. Hit 40 twice. But you guys all of a sudden passed us. Good.
Yeah, but what about 2000? We got the most playoff wins since 2000, or the second most, and you're still 15 behind us all time. Taking you so long to catch up.
We're only one or two behind New England, like in total of playoff wins. We haven't had hardly any playoff wins in 25 years, and we're still well ahead of you. So what does that mean?
But again, that doesn't count because that's a long time ago in their mind.
I was gonna say it all. The chalkboard was wiped clean when they were born, I guess.
Yeah. Okay.
Here's the funny thing: the Giants won two Super Bowls within that 25 years, and they're not even as cocky and haven't been as cocky as this Philadelphia team, bro.
I would say, if you really think about that, the fact that the Giants have won the most Super Bowls within our division, that is kind of a slap in our face as well. Washington, everything. I mean, Washington used to represent something, and now you look at them and you're just like, man, they can't even figure out their own identity. You got that? It's like that. What are you? I think they were more formidable when they were the football team, but that's going to be a whole debate as it goes forward.
Yeah.
I still have Washington friends that refuse to call them anything else other than the Redskins.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, here we go.
That's
we got
really,
Mike McCarthy
I know
on
it's part of my conversation with him, and I think just like any player that's played as long as he has. I mean, you're talking, you're well north of 200 plus games, close to 300. So, that's,
300 games. That's a lot of games.
His Wednesday will definitely look different than the third youngest team in the league's Wednesday. So,
he just pointed out what I just said.
That'll definitely be the approach with Jason.
Spider Dixon with the AP. Did you feel like this move was inevitable based on the situation, or is it this particular opportunity was the right one?
It's an excellent opportunity for us, and I think these situations are fluid. I mean, to me, this is really how the business works. This is really how we operate. I mean, we're always talking about players. I mean, this is, this is something. The timing of it is is not great, because obviously we have to make a move here, and we'll get that to you when it comes about. But so yeah, this is just more about just staying fluid and staying active, and because this thing about building your roster up, it's a year-round deal, and that's always been our approach.
365 days a year.
Did you make this move if Tyron doesn't get hurt? Is this something that would have been on the radar, finding a swing tackle?
Hypothetical. I mean, Tyron is hurt, so it's just once again. You always have. You're always looking at every position. You're always looking at different opportunities. Then there's another component of finances, and then young guys, reps. How the season went, where we are. So all those things factor into trying to strengthen your football team.
Beyond the talent and the resume that he's had, I know last year in Chicago he was talking about at this stage of his career, willing to pass along what he's learned, be a mentor sort of thing. Does that play a big role when you have these discussions of bringing a guy in at this time?
Definitely, and very appealing too. When you have a chance to sit down with Jason and just what he brings to the table, what he brings to the offensive line room. So yeah, all of that is part of his value, and that's why this is just such a great fit for us and for him. So we do have a lot of young offensive linemen that will benefit from his mentorship.
Mm-hmm.
Switching to the Tampa opener. The opener last year, you guys were underdog a little bit. I'm sure you obviously expected to win, but the way y'all played in that game, even though you lost, was that a springboard, do you think, for what kind of happened early in the season?
I think it was just more of an identification of who we are and where we were as a football team. So Tampa football
shout out to Lisa.
Has some very distinct characteristics to it. Playing down there, you're playing in the kickoff game. So there was a lot of extra that goes into that game. So playing outside, in the heat and so forth. And I thought our guys did an excellent job. Coming out of training camp and going into that game with a lot of confidence and in total belief that we were going to win the game. So it didn't turn out that way. So I think it's just really showed you where we were as a team. And every year is different, but there are some similarities to our training camp production. I think we've had a very productive training camp.
Mm-hmm.
And
I have to agree with that.
Looking forward to this week preparation, line up and competing against these guys.
Dave Laufenberg, Dallas Cowboys Radio Network. A lot more manipulation to the roster when you get the cut down and all that. My guess is when you came into the league, there were 43 or 46 guys and no practice squad. Now you got 69 in the building. So has it become easier or more difficult for a head coach when you're looking at who's going to be here, who's going to be there, knowing you can get a lot of these guys back to the practice squad, including now 40-year-old guys?
Yeah, no, I think it's definitely there's more to it. I don't know if it. There's definitely benefits to having a team that back in the '90s where those teams hung together for a long time. 6, 7, 8 years. The pressure of your number one or first and second round. It wasn't a big deal if they didn't play for a couple of years. So so the whole landscape has changed dramatically, and I think clearly this roster structure is what the NFL needed. Forget how it came about, whether it's the pandemic, going through all that. But if you truly want to be a draft and develop program, as we are, the ability to have 73 players in your building and continue to practice the way you do in training camp is vital. Because how are you going to grow your younger players if you don't have the opportunity to practice them the right way? And it's
You're right about that.
Here I go again talking about padded practice. You still get one a week, but there'll be things that we do in those practices that it's not just for the vets, it's for the continuation and development in the area of technique and fundamentals of our younger players. And so got a lot of experience doing it, but I am very, very impressed, and I think it's definitely what we needed as a league, the ability to keep 69 plus players in your building. I think it's I think it definitely helps the game.
Nick Eatman, DallasCowboys.com. Last year against the Bucs, you didn't have Zach Martin, Biotish, and McGovern were younger. How much more comfortable, if that's a word you like to use, but how much better do you feel about the interior offensive line this time going up against Tampa?
I think the biggest thing is you'll see the operations cleaner. I think just something as simple as cadence. and definitely something that, playing on the road is playing it at home. So I think that's the first thing that kind of jumps out to me, as far as your question. But yeah, I mean, that's part of the, that's part of the equation. I think sometimes people tend to overlook. Just because you don't add new players or new names or to your roster, I mean, you got to remember the development of those second, third, fourth year players. I mean, that's a huge factor in moving the needle, moving your team forward. So, and that's where we feel like we've made some gains.
Newey Scruggs, NBC5. I don't know if it was the first or second time you met with us at Oxnard. You had said early on in the year that the young players would have a big determining factor in where this team went here. What's your feeling still on that now that you're here for week one?
Well, I was hoping that my statement would be absolutely true, but it was in November, December. Mm-hmm. But it's going to have to be September now. So I mean, we're going to have young players that are be a big part of this game, and that's how we're built, and we have great confidence in it. We'll play a lot of players. September football, talked about it some today in the team meeting. If you look over the years, something that we've always felt that, in the terms of what we call unscouted looks. I mean, there'll be up to 35% of the plays in all three phases for both teams that either team has shown this look for quite some time, or it'll be a variation, or it'll be a wrinkle. Both teams have had the whole offseason to evaluate their scheme, to get into the variations and protection of their base concepts that they really truly want to live in. So you're going to see a lot of new wrinkles, and that'll go on through the whole month of September. That's been the norm. So, and I think really what that does to you is make you really just knuckle down and worry about your game. Don't worry about them as much as worrying about your own concepts. Keep your own house clean, and that's really what we spent last week on. We spent more time last week probably on South Scott and just kind of introduce Tampa Bay. So because obviously just like they have, we've had the whole off season to look at them and have a pretty strong understanding how they want to play and how we feel they're going to try to play against us. So we'll have a good week of preparation, but this time of year is really about making sure you get your house as clean as possible and
I've been doing that.
Off on the right foot.
Coach Patrick Walker, DallasCowboys.com. Moving over to the injury front, is Jordan Lewis expected to practice today? Any other injury updates for you?
We'll bring Jordan on slow. I know he had really good work last week with Britt, but the goal is to kind of introduce him today and hopefully have him cleared by the end of the week is the goal. But we'll see how he does in the pre-practice part.
Calvin Watkins, Dallas Morning News. The first 2 years, you had the pandemic and then a little bit of virtual last year. Is this back to normal for you in terms of football stuff and that kind of thing?
Yeah, definitely. Back to normal. It's we're the only ones working on Labor Day, so that definitely feels normal. But no, it's it's what's nice about last year. It was as close to normal as we could get. So we were able to have some solid comparables. Frankly, I don't even look at 2020, when I'm trying to do comparables of, whether it's scheduling, productivity, technique and fundamental development. It was just such a different year. So, but that's why I feel good. I feel really good about what we accomplished in training camp because, I think we've built a really good foundation for this upcoming season.
Mike, you go back to the unscouted looks. Does that just stress the importance of your rules holding up because you won't have been able to rep it?
Absolutely. No, well said. I mean, it's all about believing really, what you start in the spring is you go back and you put everything in based on your concepts. You do conceptual learning, conceptual teaching, and conceptual, practices where you're just really, getting everybody to understand, the concept, whether it's playing cover two and have everybody in the perimeter group, work the middle read, work the monument, work the hook. So you really have that opportunity to teach it conceptually. And then, training camp and really you started in the OTAs is more about, getting the installs taught and learning things more by plays and situations and so forth. So that's the normal teaching progression. And frankly, it's the right way to go because, you're going to see some things in the first 3 or 4 weeks that you haven't seen yet. So this league's about trends. It always has been about trends, and you'll see variations that'll come out of, this past off season's evaluation process and how people install and copy new wrinkles and fit them to their team, and how you're highlighting certain personnel that you may have had last year, or it's different, or you may have lost from last year. So all those things play into how these seasons start.
Michael Gelfin, Dallas Morning News. CD.
So let me ask you this, Jory, do you have a fine policy here for the media coming in late?
You should.
I told Mike Fisher's in charge of the fine. Is that correct?
There you go.
No? Okay. Just trying to hold accountability here. I mean, it's obviously very high. It's a two-way street, I'm told. Yeah.
He's long-winded today.
He's puffing his chest out.
Yeah, he's happy right now.
Some of the details of his position. I was curious what gains you've seen him make in that area that he hopes is a difference for him this year.
I mean, you really got to, really got to love his path. I mean, obviously, very high draft pick. Coming in here to a very talented receiver group, and you can see right away that he, obviously can play inside and outside. Primarily played in the slot so much as his first year, and had some flanker work. So now you're seeing the third year where he's able to play every position, inside, outside, move him around, so forth, and frankly, it's going to be needed. We fully anticipate him to be targeted, as far as double teams and things like that. So that's all part of our thought process too. And I wouldn't be surprised Sunday night if that was their approach. So, this is all part of the plan for his development of being able to play him inside and outside. So he has the complete skill set that you're looking for, and he's the guy. And that's what your flanker looks like in his system, and our job is to make sure he gets the opportunities to perform.
You kept him on the 53. When do you anticipate Gallup ramping up his work with the team, doing individuals or things like that?
He'll be in the rehab group this week. That's all really I can tell you. But he's he's hit every target to date. Looks really good. I mean, every medical report is extremely positive about Michael.
Kelvin Joseph he didn't practice last week. Is he still dealing with the concussion stuff?
He'll go through the prehab group early, and then we'll try to work him in.
Mike, last year, Tampa Bay, Bruce Sanders was the head coach. Now Todd he's the coach there. What are you anticipating? And then also, this is his second opportunity as a head coach. You've gone through that. What goes through your mind that second time around of what you want to make sure you get right?
Well, I think so much. I know for me personally, the second time around, there's, you kind of just have a chance to redefine your do's and don'ts. I mean, and I think one thing Todd has always been extremely consistent. If you look at his career, is just the way his defenses have played, and it was no different when he was a head coach. So they're going to schematically challenge you. They're going to be aggressive. They do a really good job in the areas of fundamentals, and I think statistically that's reflected in how they take care of the ball. But they're number 3 in takeaways last year, so that's always been a big part of his play style and what his defenses bring to the table. So I mean, I have a lot of respect for him. I've competed against him as a coordinator, and I think just really the second time around is, you just have a cleaner vision of what you want to do. And, him and Bruce have been together forever, and there'll be a lot of similarities in their program.
Mike, it's game week. We talk, obviously that's what we're here. What's the mindset of this team, the excitement level of this team, yours as well as the team?
I mean, we're ready to go. I mean, we're ready to get going. I think, our training camp plan was different, and there was, there's some uncertainty to all of us. We've never practiced that way before. We've never gone through where your ones didn't play in games. So, I think we definitely, hit the target what we were trying to accomplish. So our practices, like today we have 5 team periods, 4 of them are competitive. So I think that tells you where our mindset is. We just want to keep our environment as competitive as possible, and keep working on the things that we feel are going to help us be successful Sunday night. So, I would say we're operating with a lot of confidence right now.
More business-like than excitement.
He's definitely running on today. You guys got enough?
It's, one thing it is different for me as a head coach. I've always been able to get the team regimented on an in-season work schedule. Usually
we're not
2
hearing
weeks of
anything
that
earth-shattering at this
you
point.
go into the regular season.
All right, so we'll
this year
turn
we have
him on
not,
to-
just because of the
All right, so we got our Jason Peters talk and stuff in there. Shout out to you guys. Actually, appreciate you guys taking your holiday and spending some time with us here on the Jobu Sports Report. And if you're just tuning in, it's I have to say I'm going to be very, very sad. I really am going to be very, very sad because when the Eagles crash and burn, we're going to lose about half of the people that are in here right now.
That's how it works, Mark. We call it cockroaches, man, when the lights come on.
It's, I was listening to Mike McCarthy here. Some of these comments, can't wait to face that trash-ass team, Cowboys, and, and so on. Listening to them about Jason Peters, man, damn, you talk about, they talk about him, jeez, that he's literally the worst player in the NFL. But, it was interesting, too, because I've got the TV on up here. They were talking about the Bills. It's funny that we get so much flack. The last time the Bills were in the Super Bowl, of course, was in '93, and have never won a Super Bowl. But somehow the Cowboys are just the worst team in the NFL. The Bills are one of 12 teams that have never won one. How come we don't hear that about other teams? That we are just a failure?
Because they don't move the needle like we do. I mean, it just is what it is. Nobody really cares about Buffalo outside of Buffalo fans.
Mm-hmm. John Irvin, shout out to you for the comment of the day. He said, I need to come up with a Jobu brisket, Jobu bye-bye brisket to basically say goodbye to all the Eagles when they basically crash and burn. And before I got shamelessly interrupted by Mike McCarthy, I was telling you to make sure you sub it to my man DMV and definitely check out my man Primetime Phil with the mailman delivering. They're doing live streams on Saturday nights and stuff, getting good insight and things. They're new to the YouTube game, but definitely show them some love and stuff.
I appreciate it. Thank you, guys.
Thanks, Mark.
Yeah, no, we're all YouTube family. It's about actually trying to elevate people up as opposed to tear them down and things. There's I've been doing
crazy.
this. I've been doing this for a long time, and I still have a lot to learn. But I like to.
And I got to give it credit. I mean, I'm going to do this, and it's going to make kind of throw up in my mouth a little bit. But even got to give credit to some of those Eagle fans for coming in and supporting the channel there too. I mean, you got your constant guys that come in here and give you crap, but they're your regulars, and you kind of
as long as they're respectful and seem knowledgeable. I would welcome. Everybody. It's just when you come in here just running your mouth. Listen, when you got a coach who walks around saying beat Dallas all week, the week of the game, you're gonna
Nick Sirianni.
You're gonna bring up the dark side of the fan base because they're just it is what it is. But it makes it better when we beat them. It makes it better.
I feel like that I'm like right on the neutral zone. That this is where the fan bases really clash. Maybe I'm wrong on this, but I don't know that you get as much hate and stuff like this as much as we do on this channel. I would say probably Philly 500. That between the two of us, this is where the two fan bases really kind of rumble together. And I enjoy it. I really do.
I do too.
There's my man E2 Blue. Philly cream cheese.
What were you going to say about DMV?
E2, I got to talk to you, man. I'm hoping you're going to be here this weekend and stuff, man. I know you're the big daddy and stuff, and I don't know if you got your son this weekend or not, but definitely we got to have you in the house. So anything that you guys heard from Mike McCarthy that makes you want to pause, throw up in your mouth, feel good about nothing earth-shattering?
I feel good that Peters is practicing. He's going to be practicing, and they're going to try to ramp him up, like we said. Yeah, so feel good about that.
Jordan Lewis is back at practice, working his way back, so he's going to be good to go. That's good.
Mike McCarthy sounded like a 16-year-old girl on the phone, man. Just chatty, and like you can tell how he's feeling. I think Mark nailed it on the head because he's joking with the media, about do we have late fining and stuff like that because you're running late and stuff like that. So you can kind of was it something that maybe he was harping on in the sense that, well, look, we need a tackle when Tyron goes down, and then when he went down, he's like, I kind of told you so.
Yeah.
And he didn't want to like say, hey, I've been pushing for a left tackle for the whole time, So you can kind of see his mood change a little bit, the fact that you may have that stress kind of go away a little bit.
Well, this season, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, it helps knowing that Jason did what he did last year. My first initial was Eric Fisher, but then when I actually looked at what happened, Eric Fisher's cooked.
Yeah,
so
he got blown up.
I wanted Peters the whole time, personally.
Yeah, after looking at it and see what he did last year, this is a great signing. I mean,
well,
I
Eric
think
Fisher
you got to
came
make sure
off
he's
of
ready to go, though. Don't rush him in there. I don't want him pulling a muscle or because he's had injury issues. So let's just make sure he's ready to go.
Well, Eric Fisher came off of a ruptured Achilles to start the season. They had to slowly ramp him up, but then ended up having shoulder and knee injuries by the end of the year, and that's why the Colts didn't re-sign him. Here's an interesting question to me is, when we look at this now, the Cowboys were not predicted now to win the division. The Eagles, of course, are the greatest team since sliced bread. And you look at it, people say the Cowboys didn't help themselves. We signed an old-ass offensive tackle. We gave up Amari Cooper and Cedric Wilson. Cedric Wilson all of a sudden is, the greatest wide receiver in the world. And Zeke Elliott is done.
Miami.
If Dak Prescott has a good season, are we going to finally see that he gets respect?
No.
Hell no.
No?
No.
Hell no.
No, he could win a Super Bowl and that shit ain't going to matter.
Okay. I'm just saying because they've been going through about how bad this team is and how they've gotten no help or anything. If he ends up having, a 4,000-yard season, another 35 touchdowns, you're not going to look and say he did that with nothing?
I literally argued with somebody who told me that Herbert, they were giving me all this praise about Herbert and how Dak doesn't show up in big games. And I'm like, Dak has a playoff win. Dak has showed up in countless big games.
He's beat Herbert.
He beat Herbert.
Mm-hmm.
Herbert doesn't have a winning record. Mm-hmm. Yet you guys like how the football comes out of his hands better. So all of a sudden, we can give him the buffer, but then Dak gets hell when Dak has put together countless year after countless year of good year and good production. He's never going to get that respect.
Yeah,
it's just
somehow
not going to happen.
his numbers mean nothing. It's garbage time. It's just garbage
Performance doesn't matter. Performance doesn't matter either. They're just going to hate him.
Okay.
I've never understood why you have to praise somebody and in doing so you got to bash somebody else. It seems like Dak is always on that end of but Dak is not as good. Herbert's a good quarterback, but come on, man, he beat him straight up. His numbers are better than Herbert. I mean, I don't know what else the man has to do other than win a Super Bowl. And then we already talked about if they do win a Super Bowl, it'll be the defense and
exactly.
Game, whatever.
Let me point out that every year that Tom Brady's won a Super Bowl, he's never had worse than the number 8 rated defense in the NFL. That was Tampa Bay's year. That was the worst defense. I think 2 of them he had the number 1 defense. Just saying. And we haven't had anything like the defenses that Tom Brady has had. And don't get me wrong, Tom Brady is the GOAT. But he also had some help as well. And speaking of Tampa Bay, as we go into this week, where I was saying the Cowboys are the 3rd youngest, at least before Jason Peters, Tampa Bay is actually the oldest roster in the NFL. And you kind of wonder here with Tom Brady taking off 11 days because, he's got shit to do. And, all of the players that they brought in, they brought in
book club.
Right.
And he's
trying to make mama happy is what he's trying to do. But bringing in Julio Jones during training camp, bringing in Kyle Rudolph, like we said, we know Godwin's not going to be ready. He's on the men from the ACL. Antonio Brown, who burned Anthony Brown last year, is not there. Gronk is not there. I mean, he still has Mike Evans and things like that, but I'm not sure Kyle Rudolph and Julio, I just stay injured now, are going to be the answers for him, especially with an offensive line that is definitely hurting even as worse than we are because the interior of that offensive line has been decimated. I'm wondering what kind of shape they're going to be and what kind of cohesion they're going to have with Bruce Arians no longer being the coach anymore.
Yeah, exactly.
I just wouldn't rely on any of that. I just wouldn't rely on any of that. Brady's doing the Brady thing.
Yeah, their defense is going to be good.
Defense is good.
Expect early on a lot of punts.
Just like you were saying, Mark, defense will struggle for a little bit.
Yeah, well, the defense was good last year. We scored 29 points. Our defense was,
that's what I mean.
Our defense, we gave up
worse.
31, and our defense was not really ready for prime time yet. Our defense got
knock on
better.
wood, Tampa's not putting up no damn points like that. Not with what they got right now.
No.
Could they eventually? Yeah, but I see them playing more ball control in this game to make up for the offensive line struggles that they have. You'll see a lot of dinking and dunking, like you guys said. They'll try and get Fournette in there, some play action, but I mean, I just don't. I mean, Micah Parsons. We got too much for Brady to just sit back there and wait for Julio.
Oh, it's going to be quick. It's going to have to be quick.
I'm excited, just to see what they do.
Yeah.
With Barr and Parsons, and it's just, and what they're going to do with D-Law when they slide him up the line. Man, it's going to be fun.
Well, I mean, if you look at it, each position, whether you're kind of going backwards with it, but like on the D line, on the defensive line, think about how many people you can have there, whether it's 3 or 4, or even 6 if you put them at outside linebacker, for example, you just have them rushing the quarterback. So, I mean, if you look at those guys, I mean, you could probably name 3 or 4 guys that you would feel very good about. Okay, I want him to make a play right now. And, Osa, I feel pretty good about it. He definitely stands out when you look at film. Tristan Hill in his contract year, we all know guys about their contract year. And so when you look at the next level, then all of a sudden you got a Parsons, you got a Barr, you have, I don't know if you throw LVE in there, but, you got some named players on that defensive line. You got secondary and Diggs. Anthony Brown, we trash on him, but he definitely holds his own. There's a reason why he's the number 2 on this team. It could be the fact that nobody else has stepped up, or the fact that he does make some plays. I mean, there's some times
he's playing the ball, Phil. He's playing
really good ball right now.
He is. And then you look at the safety. I feel comfortable with any of those guys stepping into that role. And I mean, I can't say that about a defense for a very long time here in Dallas. I mean, I felt pretty good about the offense last year, but and that's where I kind of take the step back, and I have to remind myself that last year, I mean, yeah, we lost some pieces, and the offensive line is definitely, that iffiness. I feel a little bit better after today's signing, whether it's a backup or starter. But, I mean, then again, they were scoring quite a bit of points. They were, top in the league when it came to a lot of that stuff. So it's like, yeah, if they take a step backwards, how much is it really a step backwards in a normal offense through the end? I mean, you look at Chicago Bears, how much are they really scoring? But, if they have a good defense, all of a sudden they're in games. Bad example, but you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, we'll dig into the game more, but I'm excited to think about 3rd and long. You got Tom Brady. What's he going to do? Where are we coming from?
Everywhere. You're coming right up the middle, where he hates
up the
pressure.
Middle.
And then if you start getting worried about the middle, that's when you can have guys come
3rd and long.
As well, too.
Like if we keep Tampa in 3rd and long, not like 3rd and 3, 3rd and 2. I'm talking anything over 5 yards.
Pin their ears back.
Man, that's what's going to be fun. I don't, because Dallas, they'll give you that 3-yard pass over the middle and then make the tackle. So we'll do it all day.
Well,
yeah, I mean, to me, when I look at Tampa, I definitely look at 2 of the 3 guys as a weakness. The other guard, I think, was really in the battle when it comes for the starting position. So I don't look at him as that, like, oh, okay,
it's a big drop off, right?
But it is a huge drop off, especially with the center and everything as well, too. And that being of anything, I mean, there's not very many weaknesses when it comes to the Tom Brady game, and and that's kind of hard pill to swallow. But I mean, he's been in it for so long, and I have to admit, he's had a really top defense when it comes to it. And I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that he hasn't been like other quarterbacks and eating up the whole salary cap, and he's allowed it to kind of be spent on other players too. So I mean, that's the reason why.
Blue virus, bro. I'm excited to see Sam Williams and Micah Parsons. So, yeah, I'm telling you, just think 3rd and long. You might see Sam Williams coming off the edge.
Well, let me ask a question.
He's going to be a situational guy right now.
Let me ask a question of you guys here as we, this is the beginning of game week. Okay.
Yeah, it's exciting.
This is game week. What do you guys have on schedule for this week? What kind of videos? You're doing any live streams and things like that, so that way people can know to look for what you're going to be doing. You're going to do any breakdowns for the game, any prediction shows? What you got?
Well, we're actually going to try, like Saturday's our thing. We're going to talk about the game. We want to definitely have some people on for Zoom, whether DMV, whether it's Mark, maybe Troy, Daniels, get a group of us. Let's start talking about this game. Start different people. I think with those guys, we tend to be polite enough to not talk over each other, but excited enough to want to talk. So I think we all bring something from some knowledge and definitely can point out some stuff. So I would love to do that on Saturday. Honestly, to tell you the truth, it's just, when it comes to the collaboration there, I love everybody's point of view. I mean, it definitely, everybody has like that, stuff that they bring to that other ones aren't. When you look at any of these other YouTubers, you got people that, break down film a little bit more. You got people that are really good at predicting what might come throughout of a game. So I'm loving the community that you're kind of building together, and I'm kind of feeding off of that. Sorry, Mark.
Oh, no problem. No problem at all. Okay. All right. So definitely check out the Mailman.
And you're going on Saturday too, right, Mark? You're going.
Yeah,
on.
we're going to switch.
Zoom,
I think
so.
what we're going to do is we're going to switch the Zoom call to Saturday because, of course, game day is Sunday.
Yeah,
I think we might.
But we'll do it like a preview show and Zoom call. Get everybody's thoughts. So, it's become almost like I guess you could say the book club if you were the ladies or something like that. But, everybody, I'm getting used to seeing everybody every weekend and getting their point of view and stuff. So we definitely want to keep that together.
So you live streaming the game on Thursday, Mark?
I think I will. Yeah, I will. And Wednesday
maybe
night.
do a smaller Zoom, maybe then.
Yeah.
We could talk about what's going on and bring DMV if he's
I
available.
think Wednesday night, I think Rio is supposed to be over here, and I forgot I'm supposed to be out of town. Rio's coming over, and we're going to be doing a round table with Cop Pizzle and Philly 500 on Wednesday.
Oh, nice.
So Rio will be here, and I'll be here, and then we'll have Cop Pizzle and Philly 500 joining in too. So that will be fun to really get the shit stirred up. DMV, what you got going? What's your plans for this week?
Yeah, so this week I'll probably be doing a live show. I'll probably do maybe a live show later on today because it's Monday. So I think I'm going to switch to Mondays and Thursdays. So Monday tonight. Probably,
I got to get everybody's schedule down so I can put the notifications on.
8 o'clock. So I'll do a pre-show to Mark because I know Mark does the 9 o'clock. So I'll do it 8 o'clock on Mondays. Mondays are, either we have Monday night football or whatnot. But yeah, Mondays and Thursdays. So football night, I'll probably go at 8. Thursdays at 9 p.m.
Okay, that's cool.
All right.
9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Yeah. Mine's always Eastern too. Yeah.
Final thoughts as we get down the line here. What do y'all think the season is going to be like for us? Is it doom and gloom? Is it going to be the Eagles just run away with the division? The Cowboys are in third place with a 6-10 record, like some of the stuff I've seen.
I would say this is the time for optimism. There's nothing worse than predicting negativity before it. No, this is optimism. I mean, we have the best defense in the division by far. I'm sorry, Philly. It's true. So we're going to be in every game. We have to grow a little bit on offense with these young players, but my original was 11 wins, and then you lost Tyron. I'm like, all right, I'll go 9 or 10. Now that we got Peters in the fold, I'm just going to stick with 11 and roll with that, But I think we're going to have to win 11 if we want to win the division. As much as we don't like Philly, Philly is a better team, and they're just going to win more games. So.
And they have a cake schedule too.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, when I get excited about how you keep pointing it out, but I get excited about how young this team is. So each game that passes, I feel like they're going to get better. When I look at Sam Williams, I see him making plays. I mean, I see him also have some negatives, but I see it all that he's young and he's touching the quarterback at the last second when he should have just kept his hands off of him. It's those little things like that. It's his attitude that's coming to the surface, and I like the fact that you're bringing that into defense, especially when you got ran over in San Francisco. So now you feel better about your defensive line going forward. So I really like how this team looks young. I like the fact that the one old piece that you did bring in, you're doing exactly what happened with Peters. He's not looking for a long-term deal. He's not looking for somewhere to become the corner franchise player in the left tackle position. He's looking for something to just kind of whine out his career. Dallas is not looking for something long-term at the moment. They're trying to figure out what they have. So I think the two coming together is like a perfect marriage, and I'm interested to see where they decide. Are they going to leave Tyler Smith inside and left guard, or are they going to go ahead and shoot him out to left tackle, or is Peter going to be your left tackle in the starter? So I'm interested to see what happens there, and I think that's the question mark.
Well, he definitely gives us a whole lot more options. Having Peters, you can say, okay, we can move him because there were no other options without Peters. There's no way Josh Ball was going to be the starter at tackle or Matt Lewinsky this early. Now you could say, well, we can start Jason Peters out there. We can swing him back to guard or whatever. You've got at least options now, something we didn't have. Last question here. Will Mike McCarthy be the coach of the Dallas Cowboys next year?
Yes.
Yes.
I'm not going to say yeah.
The assumption would be is that we've got to make the playoffs and make some noise then.
We have to win a couple of games. I think they love DQ so much that they don't want to see him leave. So it all depends how it plays out. But if you have to ask me, I'll say yeah. I'm not going to predict negativity. So, yeah, I'd say he'll be here.
Well, here's the thing about Dan Quinn, though. He's seen both sides of the equation. Being head coach, it's great. You get more money and recognition and everything else, but comes with it a whole lot more headaches.
Yeah, he's a competitor, though. He wants to right or wrong.
Well, maybe not.
He had a lead in a Super Bowl that he should never have lost.
I agree with that 100%. But you know what? I used to say, I want to have a big company and build all these big projects. And I did. I had 25 people working for us. We were building 80,000 square foot warehouses and things like that. But I realized it wasn't fun. I actually enjoy doing the work, getting my hands dirty and actually creating as opposed to telling somebody else how to do it. And see, that's where he kind of was as the head coach. You looked at him in Atlanta, he didn't look like he was having that much fun. When you see him out on the field and at training camp with those guys, he is down in there. He's literally on the field there. And it seems like the joy is back with him. And some guys are just better coordinators than they are head coach. You can look at a guy like Norv Turner, who, was always a great offensive coordinator, but wasn't that great of a head coach. You could look at a guy like Wade Phillips, who was, one of the best defensive coaches out there, was not good as a head coach. Maybe Dan Quinn's in that mold.
I like Dan Quinn. I'm a big Dan Quinn fan. Sometimes some of these people, they overreact. I mean, you look at Atlanta. What was Atlanta doing prior to Dan Quinn? That's
one and done in the playoff every year.
That Super Bowl happened, everything. You got to the Super Bowl, Atlanta. I'm like, no, let's just get him out of here, man. It's just embarrassing, that 28-3 whole thing.
Yeah.
You were there. How long were you trying to get over that hump? But yeah, let's get him out of here, man. Let's just go with the fan base, what they say.
Yeah,
and let's run our team.
Yeah, we talked about it. He's a better coordinator. I totally agree. But that defense loves him. They'll run through a wall for that man. So that goes a long way. So you can get better. In this league.
That was like the Lions with Caldwell. Caldwell actually got them at 4 years, 2 years in the playoffs, and the worst season he had, I think, was 8-8, and they fired him for Matt Patricia. In which case, they just
he was a train wreck too.
Yeah, and it was one of those things. It's like, you're the Lions. You had a coach that took you to the playoffs two out of 4 years. Oh, we're not satisfied with that. Screw that. We'll get a Bill Belichick disciple because he'll be better. And it's like, and they definitely went through hell.
Hey, DMV, did you watch any of that Hard Knocks?
Nope, haven't watched any Hard Knocks. If the Cowboys aren't on it, I don't care about it.
No, dude, you gotta look at the coaching staff.
I have to watch the final episode, but if you got time, I'm telling you, especially you since you're an ex-player, these coaches, man, they're all. I mean, you got Aaron Glenn, you got Deuce Staley. You got the head coach.
Mark Brunell.
You got Mark Brunell. This coaching staff, you just got to. I'm just curious, because I know you played at a decent level. What you would say? These players love them. You got to check it out, dude. I was saying the same thing, but like, I watched it and I got Phil to watch it, and Phil was like, "Holy shit!" Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's real deal. It's really good.
Yeah. What is it? 5 episodes altogether?
It's 4, I think.
4, yeah. So
but it goes by quick. But you just got to check out the coaching staff, man.
I tell you what, I work from home, so I have an opportunity to sit back and watch.
If you have time, it's definitely a good watch, because I didn't want to get into Detroit.
House of Dragons a million times.
I got to get on that. My wife's all over me for that.
All right. Well, like I said, I've actually got still a little more work here to do at the man cave, getting ready for the game. I cannot wait to have this thing on. I got to hook up with David Wiley on the menu and stuff. But the man cave will definitely be ready to start broadcasting. We'll probably Thursday night do a broadcast out here as a test run for the first game.
Should be a good game that Thursday night.
A couple of interesting things here. Matthew Stafford now, they're saying that he's, the tendonitis, which they've been trying to manage in his elbow, that it feels great and he'll be ready to go and this, that, and the other. Could that be a lingering injury? They have not been able to practice with him a whole lot this offseason. That could be a bit of a problem because we're talking about Mr. Pick 6 right here too. And you start thinking about the Bills versus the Rams week 1, and the Rams in the division that they're in, they've got the Cardinals in there. They're not worried about Seattle too much, but also the 49ers. You look at those guys, they're going to be worse because of the competition they're going to play. And of course the Rams get that first place schedule. I think there's some opportunity there. Green Bay, I think, is in a patsy division, although I think the Lions will be better. I still don't know what to think of Minnesota. But without Devontae Adams, 1,500 yards in receiving. And we've talked about Tampa Bay being old in offensive line. I don't see a juggernaut in the NFC this year. Am I wrong?
Rams.
Nope.
You'd say the Rams, Phil, but I don't think so.
But if turning it on at the right time, I think a lot of the times. I'm not worried about the beginning of the season.
Juggernaut is like a beginning to end. There's something going to run away with.
But if you look at the team, I'm not trying to say that they're going to go to the Super Bowl, but I mean,
they're good.
Out of returning Super Bowl champions having a chance, I mean, when you get rid of a Von Miller, but you put a Bobby Wagner in there, I mean, you didn't get worse. I mean,
I don't think
you do have some question marks and a tendonitis. I mean, I wouldn't roll a whole season around that. But I am with Mark in the sense that, Mr. Pick 6, as long as he gets, if he's hot at the right time.
Well, right, but here's the thing. If you were throwing pick 6s when you were completely healthy, that tendonitis is not something that just goes away. That's a lingering type thing.
Yeah, the word itis indicates that's not a big deal. I played baseball for years and years. That's like horrible. That's not fun to play with. So,
Who's their backup quarterback?
Don't know.
Yeah, there you go.
But when you look at the division, I mean, you look at the 49ers was their biggest threat. I mean, last year, 49ers beat them twice? And then the Rams beat them in the playoffs. Is that how it happened, right?
I think it is, yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, just like I said, I mean, it's hard to beat a team 3 times in the same year. So, I mean, San Francisco had something there. So, I mean, whether it was within their defense and everything, because it definitely wasn't their offense that was just scoring on them.
Right.
So, I mean, you're definitely a team that can be beat. And it showed, and the San Francisco kind of, if anything, gave you a blueprint of how to do that. So,
right.
Well, good thing is, we're going to find out this week. So, it's game time.
Buffalo, man, that's a good matchup for them.
Yeah, I think they lose week 1. I think Buffalo wins.
Well, everybody, you're up to speed with what's going on. We've got Jason Peters in the fold. He will be practicing this week. He's on the practice squad. They're going to try and ramp him up. Michael Gallup is on track. He's definitely not going to be playing this week, but he's getting closer and closer and has had no setbacks. Tyler Smith will be starting at tackle. And that's where everything is at this moment. Definitely check out my man DMV, sub up to him. He's going to have content for you guys this week as we get ready for Tampa Bay.
Tonight.
And definitely be checking out Primetime Phil and the Mailman, because they will be delivering for you guys as well. And as always, I appreciate each and every one of you all. And let's end with my son.
What an idiot! What an idiot!
See you.